In today's world, everyone has heard the ominous phrase, energy vampire. The first thing that comes to mind, associated with vampires, are terrible toothy demons, possessing immortality and wanting to drink all the blood to the last drop and leave no life in the body. Whether such creatures actually existed, we are unlikely to know, but as for energy vampires, here everything is quite real. Who is an energy vampire? An energy vampire is a person who takes away another person's energy and vitality in a conscious or unconscious way. It happens because the vampire does not have his own power and energy in life, he simply has nowhere to draw it from, so he takes it from other people in various ways. Simply put, it is a parasitic relationship, where one individual feeds on the power of another. In the modern world, every person interacts with a large group of other people, and constantly exchanges his energy with them, through communication, looks, touches, and even a basic handshake. This cycle of energy exchange happens constantly and unconsciously, as well as completely uncontrollably. Consciously we can feel only our mood and state after communication with other people. The main signs after communicating with a ghoul: loss of energy and rapid fatigue, lack of mood, nervousness, resentment, anger or rage, irritability, exacerbation of chronic diseases or general malaise, weakened immunity, dizziness and pain, lack or complete disappearance of motivation, meaning of life, desire to move forward or do something. Life energy is the force that makes every person get out of bed in the morning, dream, set goals, achieve them. It is a positive charge that helps a person enjoy life in all its manifestations. People who have high levels of this energy are characterized by success, vivacity, they are happier and more satisfied with life. While a low level of vitality is expressed in depression, fatigue, apathy, and unwillingness to do anything. The main food of an energy vampire is vitality, and he wants to take it at any cost. Drained of all blood is a familiar expression for many. Fortunately, most of these unfortunate people drink it quite unconsciously. They are ordinary people, nothing special in appearance, and in behavior too. The only magic or mystical feature they possess is not immortality, unfortunately, but the rapid consumption or complete absence of their own energy, low life potential. The main sign that you have the honor to communicate with a vampire is a complete devastation inside, all or many areas of life begin to collapse, fatigue out of nowhere. Signs of an energy vampire. Energy vampire, how to recognize it? Let's break down the main signs of vampires. The victim syndrome, or people who always complain about life, work, family, children and so on down the list. These are manipulators, amateurs, they always feel very bad, they have endless misfortunes in their lives, they can spend hours on end talking about their plight, failures and misfortunes, blaming the whole world. They are not ready to take responsibility for their lives, constantly looking for reasons and blame. This is the brightest and most common sign of an energy vampire and the reason for the leakage of your energy, because almost everyone has or had such an acquaintance, who is worse than everyone else, who always have everything bad. Intrusiveness and persistence. These people come without invitations, call at inappropriate hours, take a huge amount of time with their conversations about themselves, their troubles, they are tactless and inappropriate, they are extremely amused by the irritation, misunderstanding, or embarrassment of others. Total control. The desire to control everything and everyone, every situation. Through control, the vampire draws other people's attention and power. He justifies his behavior with care and affection, but in reality, fear and distrust are in the first place, which require feeding. If you constantly feel guilty in front of someone, without having real grounds and reasons for it, then it is necessary to think whether this imaginary friend of yours is not a vampire. As a rule, such people feed your sense of guilt before them constantly, one wrong word and they fall into resentment, making you apologize and grovel. Energy vampires feed on any negative emotions, and the stronger the evil, the better. They provoke scandals, quarrels, fights, purposely create problems and conflicts, and then enjoy watching what happens. Humiliation, insults of people around them, all this is a pleasure and enjoyment for them. A story, for example, about the queue at the polyclinic. In every registrar's office there will be a person who will make a scandal in an even place. Gossipers. Professionalism in rumors and discussing others in the worst light, they do not occupy. This is their element. Washing bones, discussions, judgments, conflicts and pushing people, all this feeds their negativity and energizes them. They love to destroy other people's friendships or relationships, to pit people against each other. Inability to rejoice in other people's happiness. Vampires are extremely annoyed by the joy and well-being of others, as well as positive people themselves. As soon as possible they want to turn the situation in a negative direction. The mere thought of such a person gives you an unpleasant feeling, a drain of energy. They hit you in the most painful and weakest place, at the most inopportune moment. They use your own information against you and hit you with it, finding the most vulnerable place. It is in the moments of weakness of their victim that a vampire feels the strongest. Vampires are very fond of people without personal boundaries, who do not know how to refuse. They cling to such individuals with a dead grip. It is very important for them to be the first everywhere and always, to defend their rightness, opinion, to prove their superiority to others. This way they are trying to prove to themselves that they are worthy of love. Most of them live in constant fear and need for emotions. Because of this they are often thrown from extreme to extreme, actions can be insane and unexpected. In the worst cases, the need for certain emotions can lead to the manifestation of violent sadistic tendencies. Separately, it is worth noting such a phenomenon, as self-vampirism. No one can take more strength than a person himself from himself. Destructive thoughts, self-criticism, negative feelings, resentment, anger, all these actions empty the energy of life faster than it has time to fill. Laziness, selfishness, self-pity, bad habits and addictions, this is self-vampirism in its purest form. How to neutralize an energy vampire? To protect yourself from a vampire, you do not need to look for aspen stakes and draw crosses. Your defense is your emotional state, or rather, its balance and stability, which no one can break through, your self-confidence. To neutralize an energy vampire, it is enough to know about his weaknesses and vulnerabilities, and there are plenty of them. Fear of loneliness. Fear of being rejected. Fear of being unneeded and unloved. Fear of betrayal. Knowing the main problems of the energy vampire, it will be easier for you to understand how to behave and how to defend yourself. The ideal neutralization option is your control of your emotions. It is your emotions that are the vampire's food. If you can control them and do not allow yourself to be thrown out of balance, as well as stop reacting to any attempts to offend you, simply transferring the situation to a positive note, there is every chance to stop the pumping out of energy at the very beginning. How to protect yourself from an energy vampire? Very often among energy vampires are, unfortunately, family and friends, such as elderly parents or other family members. Here it is very important to know that, most likely, in front of you unconscious vampirism. A person does not understand or realize that he or she is making someone uncomfortable or spoiling their mood, but this does not change the complexity of the situation at all and requires immediate action. Ideally, of course, limit communication, meetings and any contacts or stop them altogether. If the vampire is a family member, you can talk to him or her, explaining your feelings and emotions as honestly and openly as possible. Do not react to provocations to a scandal or quarrel, keep silent, change the subject or leave the room. Learn to assert your personal boundaries and say no when you feel like saying no. Try to avoid body and eye contact. This is the best way to steal energy. Control your pity and compassion. Most often a vampire doesn't need your or anyone else's help at all, he needs to evoke a feeling, your emotion, and take it for himself. Filter out those who really need help from acquaintances and relatives. It is impossible to pity everyone, moreover, it takes a huge amount of energy. Ignore all kinds of endless complaints about life, work, family, and so on. Do not take seriously rumors, gossip about other people. Get out of the role of an unhappy person and stop thinking of yourself as a victim. Develop self-confidence and self-sufficiency. Identify and eliminate your weakest and most vulnerable places. It is necessary to get rid of your weaknesses, fears and obsessions and thoughts, or learn to manage them. It is very important to realize that between a vampire and his victim there is one connecting word, it is fear. Depriving the offender of his food, you will become completely uninteresting to him. Do not tell a lot about yourself, especially personal and secret, in general, everything that can be used against you, do not be too naive and gullible. Develop self-love, learn self-reliance. As well as fear, dependence and attachment are the best friends of vampires and their victims. There are a few more non-standard ways to free yourself from negative energy and replenish your strength. Taking a shower, bath and relaxing completely will help to free yourself from bad thoughts. Since ancient times, water is a means of cleansing from diseases, negative influences. Communicating with a representative of bloodsuckers, you can cross your arms or legs, mentally imagining that you are protected. A similar way, to imagine around yourself a glass ball or your aura, how strong and indestructible it is in your imagination, so you are safe. Walking outdoors, exercising, going to the movies and theaters can also help restore your energy. How to stop being an energy vampire? How do you realize you are an energy vampire? If you find that acquaintances avoid meeting you, you're often alone at parties. And if people talk to you with closed postures, you may be taking someone else's energy without realizing it. If you have found traits or signs of vampirism in yourself, then it is necessary to deal with your inner world, learn to replenish regularly your vital energy and strength. Various kinds of sports are good for this, it is only necessary to choose the optimal one for yourself. Training perfectly release negative energy, refresh the spirit and body and energize. Walking in nature, communicating with animals, horseback riding will certainly charge you with positivity. You can go on a trip, even if not the most distant, the main thing, a change of scenery, do your favorite business, find a hobby to your liking also does not hurt. In general, everything that is associated with positive emotions, joy, laughter, passion, self-esteem and strength helps recovery. Conclusion. Energy vampirism exists, but a vampire is not a monster from fairy tales, but a person with very low self-esteem, a lot of mental fears and broken boundaries. To protect yourself from it is quite easy, if you are confident in yourself, your self-esteem is fine and you can distinguish unjustified attacks on you from fair criticism. And if, however, energy ghouls act negatively on you and they manage to make a hole in your mental well-being, try to limit communication with such people. After all, the positive aspects of such communication is much less negative. Thank you for knowing yourself and the universe with me. Trust yourself, listen to your heart and go forward with confidence and peace of mind. Give me a like and share this video with your friends if it was helpful to you. See you again on my channel where we will continue to explore the mysteries of spiritual development and growth. Goodbye and may light and wisdom always accompany you on your path.